Good evening. As mentioned, I'm Dennis Hays. I'm the president of the Reston Citizens Association. We are celebrating our 50th year in service to Reston this year. And as I look out here, I see about half of you have been on the board at one point or another. So I have a nice, warm, fuzzy feeling as to how that goes and appreciate all the service. I'll mention last Friday I was down at my alma mater at the University of Florida, and I had been asked to give a speech. I was a State Department guy, Foreign Service, and I was asked to sort of talk about how my Foreign Service experience related to where I am now, working on a more local level. So the title of my speech was, "What Dealing with Dictators, Drug Lords, and Human Rights Abusers Has Taught Me About Working with Local Government." And there's quite a bit. And I'll tell you, the one thing that I'm a little facetious, of course, but the thing that you'll see, and a common in both of these, is that there is a human tendency to push, always pushing forward. If someone thinks that there's something in their interest, they're going to push as hard as they can to get it. And guess what? If there's no resistance, they keep pushing more and more and more and more. So there has to be push back. So before we get into my comments about next steps, I want to quickly go back and remind everybody that it was a year ago, next week, that the first meeting on this took place over at the Administration Center. We're not supposed to be here now because the deal was set. We were going to have that meeting, there was a P&Z meeting, there was going to be a vote from the Board of Supervisors, and then this would have happened. Now, a year ago, there was no CPR. No one was sending around notices encouraging people to attend meetings. Nobody was providing background information. But nevertheless, 100 people or more showed up at that meeting spontaneously. And this was something the county had not anticipated. They had not planned for. Because as you know, the usual sort of way these things work is there'll be community input, which will be at a time that's inconvenient for everybody. 15 or 20 people will show up. There'll be a little discussion. Somebody writes stuff up on a board, and then they do what they want. But because there was such an outpouring of enthusiastic, loyal opposition there, it got pushed back. And so we've seen that because each meeting that we've had, more and more people have shown up to address this issue. And as we all know, as Mao Zedong reminded us, quantity has a quality all its own. So the fact that we had 900 people show up in October at the South Lakes at meeting there is the reason why we're still here today, and this is still an open issue. So believe me, this is all comes down to you. Now, I would say my overall interest in this is a simple sentence. A plan that can be changed anytime and for any reason is not a plan. And we are a planned community. And as a planned community, we need to maintain a plan or else we're not a planned community. It's as simple as that. One of the things that, we get a lot of information sort of comes our way. I'm going to try to find it. I'm going the wrong direction here. I'll go back up. One of the things that came across, and again, it's important to remember, we're not the only community that's going through all this. I mean, all across the nation, there are similar things happening. I mentioned this Portland, Oregon, because there was an interesting article that they're dealing with very similar issues that we are. And I'm going to go through 4 points that they brought up. First, they said, if you propose a major project, it is incumbent upon you to demonstrate that the community will have a more positive benefit than negative. Is that radical? Is that outrageous? No. Second thing is a quote. And this came from a prominent architect named A.E. Doyle. He said, all new things being built must be built with the idea of preserving the beauty of the community and adding to it. Now, A.E. Doyle said that in 1906. So again, nothing new here. The third point is, you don't address regional problems by damaging successful communities. And number 4 is, what's needed is a proactive approach to build trust, collaboration, and all-party solutions to the issues. Now, I mention this because, as earlier we talked about Hidden Creek. Now, Hidden Creek has the distinction of having failed all 4 of those categories that I just mentioned. And that's not easy. 100% failure rate, you got to work for it. You got to really get in there and show an effort. But you need to do this. Those of you who, is this on, this one? Probably seen this before. This is the road we're talking about that goes from here. This is Isaac Newton, and over here we have American Dream Way. And it runs along here. Here's the third hole of the golf course and these sorts of things. And again, we call it the road from nowhere because it just materialized in the middle of the night. We have been asking for a year now, and RA has also been asking to have that removed because we're told it's a conceptual road, not a real road. It's not a real road, it's a conceptual road. So there it is. So at our meeting in February, this came up as a subject. We had a discussion. At that point, they kind of changed the county guy who does transportation, changed a little bit around. And he said, well, you know, it's not really going to affect the golf course. There's room between the W&OD and the golf course, and we can put the road in there. And I said, no, you can't. And he said, yeah, I can. And I said, no, you can't. You know, that's a scintillating high-level negotiation that your CPR guys engage in all the time. So then I said, okay, well, let's go. Let's go down there. We can leave right now. We'll drive down there. Let's take a look at it. No, can't do it. 3 or 4 times, I think I asked him about this. 3 or 4 times he said no. Well, the thing is, I got my own tape measure. So I went down there and measured right about here. And the distance from the W&OD to the golf course is 14 feet, 5 inches. 14 feet, 5 inches. So if you're going to put a 2-lane road plus curbs, plus sidewalks, plus buffer, plus drainage, plus everything else in 14 feet and 5 inches, it's going to be a tough thing to do. So again, this is something that is one of these non-negotiables as far as I'm concerned, because let me tell you, if the cap is lifted to 16, and if this road stays, the golf course is gone. It's gone. So be prepared for it. Anyway, let's go forward. First thing you do, you're here. Thank you very much, because that's a first key thing. You need to be aware of this because you're going to see in another slide or two what I'm going to be asking you to do. But you don't need to get into depth and detail, but you do have to have those basic concepts. We want to stay at 13. That's the planned cap. We need to stay there. We need to get rid of the road. We need to have an implementation plan to make sure that infrastructure comes in so that we have the schools, the parks, the playgrounds that we need for ourselves and our children. So all of this is coming, and all of this, so you can go to this website you see here. All this will be available online, yes, as soon as we finish up here. So you don't have to write it down if you don't want to now. But please take a look at it. Because then we're going to talk about making your presence felt. As I mentioned, look, the county has a lot of things going for it. They have professional staff who are paid full-time to work on these issues. They have an entire office of lawyers who work on these issues. We have us. We have us. That's what we have. And we need to make sure that this is not just a Reston problem, because there's a tendency, natural enough, for the supervisors to basically respect whatever the supervisor of that particular area wants. They usually get, because there's no push. There's no pushback. So what we are asking people to do, and we're going to provide or have provided some draft language for things, but personalize it as best you can, is not just to write to our supervisor, although we want that too, but to write to the other supervisors. Write to Chairwoman Bulova, for sure, and tell them, you know, we're concerned about this, and we want it to happen. Second thing is to attend and speak at meetings. Myself and the other folks around here are discounted. You know, if I go into a meeting, okay, all right, we know what you're going to say. But new people, we have to show it's not just us, it's you, it's everybody here that's going to do these things. Talk to your friends and neighbors. Look, I was like everybody else. I ignored, or just all these issues went past me. I've been here since 1979, off and on, going back and forth overseas. And my kids were growing up, and I was busy and traveling, and I didn't really focus on these issues. Well, I do now, because I see that my quality of life has deteriorated, because it takes me 45 minutes to get from one side of town to the other because you can't get a playing field because they're overbooked, and all of these things that are coming at us at an increasing rate of speed and we need to deal with. So please talk to your friends and neighbors, get them involved, get them to do the sorts of things we're talking about here. Letters to the editor and op-eds. Again, we need a variety of voices out there, people telling them we care about this. The article in the Post is a good example. This, again, I agree, this was somebody, the author of that, knew what they wanted to say before they talked to the first person, and that's what we get. Lastly, I see a fair number of T-shirts. I see John over here is more than eager to sell you at a low price. So again, it's the visualization of the fact that this is a concern for a large part of the community. So we need to be able to do these things. This is an example. Our supervisor has on the first Wednesdays, she has meetings, and any resident can come up and chat with her about any subject. Now, you know, we're Reston, right? So we're respectful. We are informed. We're polite, but we can be firm. We can be firm about this as an issue that we care about, and we would appreciate her consideration as we go forward on these. Some of the things we're looking at, we're in this for the long haul. We don't think this is something that's going to be solved tomorrow or the next day. So we're looking at options like the GoFundMe or something. And what we want to do is be able to take out newspaper ads, have signage, do handouts, you know, whatever it takes to kind of go along these ways, because we think that it's going to be necessary to continue to educate people as we look to the future. And speaking of looking to the future, all of this, I mean, our form of government is such that our supervisors, the Board of Supervisors, has the ultimate authority on all of this. We've talked about, some of my colleagues have spoken about the concept of one Reston. I feel very strongly we are one Reston. Everybody is here for the same reasons because Reston offered something that other communities around here did not. And that one Reston includes the TSA corridor. We're not North Reston and South Reston, we're Reston. And we need to think about that. And as our county and our people look towards what is the infrastructure, what's needed to do this, that is our goal. That's what we're going to hold on to. Now, we don't have elections until 2019, but as we know in politics, that's a blink of the eye. One of the things I'm proposing, and we've talked about, is writing letters to both parties, and if there's more than two parties or independents, we'll write to them too, and basically say we would appreciate your thoughts, and we would love to have your support on these issues. Don't come to me 6 weeks before the election in 2019 and tell me that you're with us. Come to us now and tell us you're with us, and good things can happen. Same thing with other elected officials, our state and our county officials that we need to kind of work with and go through as we do these. We're going to be working out, we're going to ask that 200 and however many, and maybe some more folks, we're going to ask to kind of come and we can work together and kind of figure out how to put a point on some of these things as we go forward and move to what we want to do. I'm going to end with two quotes. You probably heard them before, the Margaret Mead quote, and that is that you know, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful individuals can change the world because it's the only thing that ever has. And the other quote that I like is from Gandhi. See, I got Mao and I got Gandhi into the same thing here, so it is. And he says, first they ignored us, then they laughed at us, then they fought us, and then we won. Okay, we are at the fight. We're at the fight stage. And so let's hope we kind of move it forward there. If we all stick together and we're clear and focused and reasonable folks like we are, then I think we do have an excellent chance on that.